it's the Tanya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share, our city needs that file. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up, we're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tanya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.
We are live. So first, let me say, if you are in here, please do me a favor. Click like, share, and subscribe. Please click like, share, and subscribe. And I want to say to my producer, who is a wonderful person, producer Jay, are you back there? You in there?
I'm here. What's going on?
What's going on? Thank you for all that you do, because I could not do this without you. And that is just the fact. That is the fact. So Sunday, this is not my normal time, everyone. This will not be my normal time. I am on this time today just because I wanted to get some updates with the week. My normal time will be Saturday at 10 a.m. But because we've had elections, a lot of elections, we've had invalid elections, we've had election results that have been counted that are not being I don't even know what to call that, to be honest, at this point. But I do want to say it's a lot going on. And tomorrow we have a lot that's actually going on we have a lot that's going on at Flint City Council. So what I want to do, if you can click like, share, and subscribe, and then to every single person who made sure that, hey, good evening, Charlotte Bound, everyone who made sure in this I don't know what to call it, producer Jay, because hey, Meat Freaks Barbecue. I did not do the production. I'm gonna talk about that too. I had nothing to do with any of this. Nothing. Is this what we're doing? Hello. I literally had nothing to do with the creativity. Hey, Tia Austin. The creativity came from people. Hey, Merck 76. It literally came from people around the U.S. Hey, Sherry Allen, it did not come, my creativity. Hey, Angela Lynette, I can't sing, y'all. I'm not a songstress. I can't sing. I can't write songs. I know nothing instrumental. And I want to say thank you to Pastor Jordan for that. He sent me 6 songs. Hey, Bishop Priestley, how are you? I'm glad you subscribed too. So Pastor Jordan blessed me with 6 songs. Producer Jake inboxed me literally last night and said, hey, I set up your YouTube channel. I was like, okay. Literally, I was in bed not even 5 minutes. I was like, okay, I'm going to get ready for tomorrow. And I'm going to, do a quick update because it was important information that we needed to get out. And so what I did was I went to work. I thought I was going to sleep, but I did not. So I want to say to the people who helped me, who sent me things and said, we see you busy. Let us take our talent and do this for you and bless you with this. I'm thankful for it. And producer Jay, you worked your magic. You did. You had me up. I was just laying down to go to sleep. Hey, JWC, I was going to sleep. And so I didn't sleep for long. I didn't even get to close the eye. So if you guys could click like, share, and subscribe. Good evening, Anthony Prevost. I'm glad I'm back too, but I didn't want us to miss out because I've seen some information and I want people to get the right information. So I got my little dusty charter out because y'all know I got 3 of them. My charter, this one is so bad that I actually have got a second charter, and I have 4 of them. But this is the one that I've had since 18. I went to the charter meetings. They went all the way. They went across Flint when the charter was voted for. And there were things at that time that I stated during those meetings that I felt needed to be changed in the charter. And there's still some things, but we got a lot that's going on. Producer Jay, if you could put up for me, there is Exodus 14:14, because I am not only thankful, but I am grateful. I am very grateful. And I think it's in purple. Do you see that one? Not that one. It's purple. I'm sorry. I apologize. It should be purple, and it's a scripture. It's a scripture.
I don't think I got that one.
You didn't get that one?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'll resend it to you. So I apologize that you didn't. It should be popping in there now.
Okay.
Because
I'll put it up.
So literally, as I have rested, these elections were hard. We had some very highly contested seats. People ran some good races. There were some tensions, and then now we have to move forward. Did it pop in there yet?
Yeah, I got it. I'm uploading it now.
Okay. And so these races were a lot. We had, first and third ward. First ward had stolen signs, cut out signs out the frames, had signs that white paint was thrown on, signs that were spray painted with black. We had a lot that was going on in these elections. Third ward was told that due to the untimely death of Councilman Murphy, that the race was then deemed invalid. The state sent the letter stating that, let me back it up. The third ward candidates were told that the results would not count. State sent the letter back that they didn't say that they wouldn't certify the election. What the state said was check with your own council at the city. Simple as that. That was the determination. I couldn't find that paper, but it has been put up. I put it up before, and it is on my page, my Facebook page. So we had that. The elections came in. The votes were tabulated. I had asked during the election day, how do we get a copy of, because they weren't going to show the figures. The figures don't show. So I'd asked the county clerk. County clerk said, make sure, you have to FOIA them, and he would make them available. And so he made them available, and we're going to talk about who that winner was when we get into it. So we're not going to be on here real long, but that one. So I want to say this, like I said, to everyone at a time when I was still, and I want to say you, Jay Sheena Beckton, I want to say I want to say to Jedediah, I want to say to Pastor Jordan, I want to say to everyone who, while I was still, and I wasn't only still, but for 5 minutes. And Exodus 14 says, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. And I was about still as you can get. Look, my hair was put up, the head scarf bonnet was on, and I was in the BED, and I was not up. And I got the call or the inbox. The page has been created for you. We need you to do this, and we need 50. Within 2 hours, we have more than 50 people to go live this morning. It hasn't even been 24 hours since the decision has been made to go live. It has not been 24 hours. And so I want to thank everyone who had their part, because literally I was good. And I'm like, I'm going to get me some rest. I'm going to get up tomorrow and go grocery shopping. And I did not go grocery shopping, but we're going to move on. I just want to say thank you to everyone. So a lot of things that are going on. If you follow Flint News, I do want to put up, Producer Jay, the Michigan State Police, that there was a 17-year-old who was shot. The family, it was the person, the teenager was shot by Michigan State troopers, told teen to stop fleeing. This was the headlines on November the 7th. It says troopers told Flint teen to stop fleeing, drop gun at least 7 times before shooting him. So there was a protest in front of the Michigan State Post Commander on Corona Road, where it was a peaceful protest, and it was a great turnout for the families that were there. I wish I could have been there. Most people know that I have a mother that has to I have to tend to, but I want them to know with this, 'cause I want to put out good information. So with this, the family has not been able to, like, the information. What happens is in the policy, in the procedure and policy, is that when a person is shot, they have to use their guns, their firearms. There is an independent investigation that a team out of Lansing are investigating. So no one talks. Nothing is released. What will be collected, number one, is the bullets, which will go to the ballistics. And then their firearms are also collected to make sure the bullets match with the firearms and to test the trajectory and so on. All video footage will be collected for any buildings that are around there, in addition to the body cams. My heart goes out to the family, because we have had, and I want to say he was either number 11 or 12, that children who are under the age of 18 who have been shot in the city of Flint just this year. I've been talking about that. It is something that is serious. Speeding up the investigation. They're not giving anybody any news. I was told personally, you need to wait for the camera footage to come out, and it will be released. They don't give us a certain time. It could be 2 weeks up to 4 weeks, hopefully more so for 2, but they have to take the footage of everyone that was there in case something was caught on the camera. And if something if something was caught on each person's camera, because their vest cam, because Flint police was there, MSP was clearly there. It was determined, what I was told, that Michigan State Police did, the fatal shots came from Michigan State Police. And so we just have to wait and see for the investigation as to how things are going to turn out. But nothing changes when you have the loss of a child. It's not easy. Flint is a hard place to live. Even for like our teens who have gotten in trouble, I've always said we need lead court. These children were poisoned by the water. They should not be put through our regular court system at all, not at all. And I truly believe in that they should not be. And so when we talk about how do we move our community forward, we have a lot of work to do. And one thing's not happening is that our children are not being put first. I have never in my life heard of so many children in our city being shot, and some within the safety of their own home while sleeping. So when this information, when it comes out, what I will do is, of course, share it with the community to make sure we have good information as soon as I hear it. And my information, I want to make sure, because I don't want to cause any more problems if, I don't, and to be careful, but this family is grieving and they are hurting, rightfully so. And so whatever it is, keep them held up in prayer, because they need it. They need it. Keep them held up, because it's a mom and a dad and family and cousins who lost a family member. They lost a family member. And so I do want to, like I say, express my condolences for them. So we're going to move on to something else. We're going to talk about this election. Ward 3 was invalidated. Producer Jay, could you put up the total that, if you could put up the total that was up there?
Yep, I got it up.
Okay, so in Ward 3, and I did not have the correct number. I had I didn't have all of the numbers. So this is the race that they're saying, the third ward, and what they're saying is the invalid numbers. But the will of the people was actually clear. You had coming in first, you had Beverly Biggs Levy at 589. You had AC Dumas at 548. You had Richard Jones at 205. You had Quincy Murphy at 309, and you had Carrie Nelson came in at 296. So Beverly Biggs Levy was the top vote getter in this race, and I think that what we have to do is, for me, the will of the people is clear. It's clear as to who they wanted in that seat, but it is being deemed to be invalid. So I know, I have always stated I don't like to select anyone. I like for an election. There was an election, and they're not letting that part go through. So with that being said, one thing I always want to go to when we go to the charter, and then my charter, I think in the pictures came up blurry. So some of the, and I'm going to go to, because you're going to be on page 23 of the Flint City Charter. So when we go on page, I was starting on 23, determining election results. So determining election results, they're not validating this because they're saying that you cannot elect a person who was deceased because he died while he was in office. Hey, Robert Sharon, that you cannot. But there's a couple things when I spoke to some attorneys. One, were we disenfranchising voters because the election had already started? That was a big concern. People had already cast votes upon the time of his untimely death. The other part is the process. So what is the process? So the process is, because it was a recall election, and these are speaking with some four attorneys who really know what they're talking about. So there's a couple of ways to argue this. One would be being disenfranchised. The other one would be the process. What is the process and how was it done? Many of you may know that we have had Tim Sneller, who passed away in office. Producer Jay, can you put up, did that make it through with Tim Sneller, who passed away in office in?
Yeah, I think I got that one.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Yep.
So Tim Sneller, former state lawmaker running for Flint area seat, dies. And so this article is from the Detroit Free Press. So what did they do in Tim Sneller's election? Well, according to some attorneys who stated the process should be argued, because one, we've had people who have been elected who have passed away. And so what the state, when they were saying, well, the state wouldn't certify the race. Attorneys were saying, well, the state sent back that they're silent on certain things because it'll refer back to something else. And so what they did with Tim Sneller was, he passed away while he was in office. What they did was open it up to allow write-ins. They opened it up. They opened it up to allow, thank you, Jason Parker. They allowed write-ins, so to make it a fair election. So that's what they did to make it. And then the election went on. He was still on the ballot, but they did certify that election with the persons who were still who were living. So one of the things was, my question was, well, does it matter if it's an election? What type of election? If it's a recall, primary, special, or general? I was told the process would still be the same. So the process should be argued in court as to how, what was the process? The process was, Beverly Biggs did a recall. She finished the recall. It required 515 votes to put the third ward seat on the ballot and the third ward council person. She completed that process by getting, I believe, 700 and something votes, or signatures, not votes, signatures that were qualified. She only needed 515, so she met that. So all of those votes were certified. They were certified by the city, certified by the county, they were sent to the state. So therefore, the ballots were created. So that part of the process had been passed. And so now at this point, you have 5 candidates. And the 5 candidates would have been Beverly Biggs, A.C. Dumas, Rich Jones, Carrie Nelson, and the late Councilman Murphy. So you have 5 candidates at the time. And they're stating that he was in a recall election. Well, we have with Tim Sneller, which I spoke with, 2 of these are election attorneys. They were like, this process it has to be argued. And so, hey, Bishop Priestley. So the process, I I don't know where I believe it's got another court date, and I honestly have not had time to follow that part. One, I believe voters were disenfranchised because voters had already cast the votes. Two, the process should have been the process in the quarter to get that to that was already completed. The will of the people, you had the same people apply for the selection. If council were to select, would be the same people that were in the race to run for the election. So it didn't change. Let the election go on. It's a waste of money. It makes to me no sense at all that we're going to use other results and waste money. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. And I am comfortable with whatever the will of the people is. The will of the people was clear that Beverly Biggs Levy won 589. And that is what, in my opinion, as council, we should be supporting, which is the will of the people. The people showed up and the people voted. It was important enough to them to show up to vote. And even on election day. So on the chart, if you've got questions about that, and I'm going to read some parts of it. I believe my what's the names are not clear. So there's one where it says section on page 23, section 2-409, special elections. And so this is what they are going by now. Special elections. A special election shall be called by resolution for the Flint City Council at least 90 days in advance of the election when required by the state. B, whereas the charter requires that a vacancy in the office of the mayor or city council member be filled special election, the special primary election tonight. So we will have a primary and a general, just so everyone knows. This is the process that that they're saying because they are not validating. So the primary could be as soon as February, with the general being in May. Hey, Melissa. And so it states, says called by resolution, city council adopted at least 90 days before the special primary election. The special primary election shall be at least 90 days before the special general election date. So you can go on page 23, section 2-409 A and B, and it will tell you how it goes. It's the same thing for Candace. Candace's was put off for her election part between her and Jan Marie. And so that is on the chart of page 23. And so then there's also what they, and they considered a lot of different things in here, which I'm not, for me, when I talked to other attorneys, they stated it was really at the will of the city clerk to say, well, what do we do? But then she kept stating the leadership, which the leadership should be every one of us. We're all equally voted in, not the will of what they want. So 2-4-10, vacancy in the office of council members. Whenever a council member of Flint City Council, the remainder of the unexpired term shall be filled as follows. One, if it's 18 days or less, the city council shall within 30 days appoint a person having the same qualifications for such to fill the remainder. Well, we kind of got an election that they're saying that they invalidated, and then they're applying both to me. And this is, to me, a convoluted mess. It's a convoluted mess. Then B, if more than less than 18 months, any terms for the city shall, number one, within 30 days appoint. Well, we're past the 30 days. One, we had a conspiracy to incite a riot on October the 14th. And so it was not safe to be in there for residents, for city staffers, or for council members. Everyone saw what happened that day. And so that vacancy of the office this is what they're doing. So we're going to go on to see page 24. It says temporary vacancy in the office of a council member. When a council member is able to, well, that's 45 days. That one doesn't apply. So what we will be looking at is them to fill that seat in a special election. That's what they're doing. I'm not in agreement with that. I'm not in agreement with that because the will of the people have spoken. You have 589, the same 4 people that applied were the same 4 people for the selection process. And we need to stop wasting time on this and move forward. They wanted Beverly. Now, you know, what I'm told, there are 4 council members who don't like Beverly. I don't think they like Dumas. So we are really, I don't know if we're really at a stale. I think we're at a stalemate. I think it's really a 4-4. But the will of the people have spoke. This was an election. The only thing it was not done was certified by the state. The people showed up, they voted. They're telling us who they want. You may not like the selection, but they're telling us. And I personally feel that this is irresponsible, the way that they're doing this. And I'm not in agreement with it. I mean, we should be appointing who the people want. And that's the people who spoke. Now, also, they had an issue with precinct 10. So precinct 10, as I was speaking with our county clerk, the city map and the county map were on different, they had different maps. How? I don't know. So the maps were not the same. So there were 2 to 3 streets which were not counted. So my question was to the county clerk, how many people did not receive the ballot that would have had the third ward race on? And he said, well, not a lot. I said, well, what's not a lot? He stated a handful. I said, so is it under 25? He said, yeah, it's not a lot. I never got an exact number. So there was like 2 to 3 streets. So precinct 10, we still don't know how many people that would have affected the race. We just don't know. And so precinct 10 was also left off. And so there were many mistakes that were made in this third ward race. And then the day of the race, there were still issues at that precinct. There were a lot of issues at that precinct because Ward 1 was at that precinct. The county clerk did come to straighten out some of the issues where he stated, they was just educating them on what was wrong. Sheena, yes, if you go, you can even Google Flint City Charter and it'll pop up. It'll pop up. And that's probably easier than going to the Flint City website because it's not friendly. If you're looking for the charter, you can Google it, Flint City Charter, and it'll show up in your Google. And so with precinct 10 having, well, I'm gonna say false status, there was two precincts out there. There are problems in both precincts. So the county clerk did come to give them some education because people were being sent away and saying this is not where you vote. That was happening. JPEG said they don't follow the charter. Listen, JPEGs, they don't even follow the goofy rules that they made up. And as we were saying, being kind of facetious, and we were saying at our last meeting, so how do you get stuff on the agenda? Of course, we all know the 3 of us or 4 of us who were saying that. We absolutely know because the charter is very clear to that. Very clear to that. And so what they doing is, the president or whoever's chairing, you have to go everything through them. So Darnell said, any other candidate other than Mrs. Biggs will show that the other members are against the will of the people, as if it needs to be shown any further. Okay. Well, Beverly did the work and the people, they spoke. So tomorrow's going to be a lot. So with her election, she was the top vote getter, which is the will of the people. That's just that. And in any election, we, as council, I feel that is what we should be honoring. So next thing that's going to be tomorrow, organization of the council. So we are up for, and it's on page 26. Did any of them, producer Jay, show up, or can we put them up anyways?
I mean, yeah, I can put them up. They just,
are they that blurry?
I mean, I'll show you what they look like.
Okay.
You can't read them, but give me 1 second, and
I appreciate you.
I'll put it up. So I mean, you can't really see it,
and it's small. It can't be blown up or expand, or it gets real blurry.
Yeah, let me show you what it looks like blurry. You see how blurry it is?
I don't think that's really bad though, because I think they can get the page number. So can we filter through those so that they can see? 3. Okay, that one, the last one, organization of the council. Yeah, that's one, section 3-103. That's up. So if you see that, and at the top it says Article 3, legislative branch. And so you can leave it up over my face. I'm fine with that. So Article 3, legislative branch, section 3-1, the city council. And then it goes into term of office, and that we shall elect the president, which shall serve for 12 months. The president of the Flint City Council, we elect the president and the vice president. And so I'm going to read organization 3-103. A, within 30 days of taking office, the city council shall elect from its members a presiding officer shall be known as the president of the council. The president shall be elected for a 1-year term, that's 12 months. The city council may select such other officers, appointments, such committees and subcommittees it deems necessary. So with that one, so what happens tomorrow? Tomorrow it should have been on the agenda. There are 3 legal opinions that are out now. One is about the 30 days. Can we even appoint someone to the 30 days? Can we? Another legal opinion, which is out, which is what if we don't elect, if we are 4-4? One of the things I do want people to know that the president's duty is done. It's a 1-year term. The president and the vice president have a 1-year term, period. So what happens with that term? They're no longer the president. We have to vote in a new one. So what happens if because people keep saying, what if we are a 4-4? And we can't, because, we have they don't want to appoint, they can't get the person that they like, that they like in. So they're, we know that side will play hardball. We know that. So what will happen is the only chair that does not have a term is the finance chair. So the finance chair doesn't have a term. So what will happen is until we pick, the finance chair will have to chair all of the terms. They don't have a term. Everything else in the charter has a 1-year term. So as of tomorrow, if we cannot pick a president, I can't see the other 4 where we have been targeted picking the same leadership. Who wants to go back into a personal hell? So I don't see that happening. Absolutely not. So I don't know where the bending, but Judy is the finance chair. Finance chair does not have a term. The finance chair is elected by the president, but so we're waiting on a legal opinion. And some of our legal opinions, which everybody knows, have been kind of different. We do not have we have interim city attorney. We have the new city attorney, which has not been verified as of yet. So the finance chair, technically, if we're going by the charter, everyone else's term ends. There's no extended. There's no, you get to keep it. Absolutely not. That means that because the only one that does not have a 12-month term is the finance chair, and that's going to be Judy. So there will probably be a lot of pressure on Judy in regards to into this council. But one thing I'm not trying to do, we have got to change the culture. Ms. J. Candace says Liddell will continue to be. That's not what our charter states. She has a 12-year term. It's nothing about her being an extension. Absolutely none. None at all. And so that's where they need to read page 26. It's a 12-month term. That means it ends. It doesn't say she continues. She gets to continue. It does not state that at all. Not at all. It does not. And it's very clear. And so me and my little raggedy charter, I mean, it states that. Then go to page 26. And so the only one that doesn't have a term that's limited is the finance chair. And the finance chair, in order to conduct any of the meetings, you have to have an officer. And so we know that Judy will have to, she's going to have to chair. First, the person will be the city clerk. Then I don't know, and I do not know how many rounds we're going to have. So I have to wait for that. And so I don't know how many rounds they're going to say, okay, go before we're at a deadlock. But I know Liddell did not help with some of the things that she stated to her other colleagues. It has not helped with her continuing to say JWC wanted to slash her tires. It didn't help that she called me a bitch. It didn't help that she called Dennis Pfeiffer racist. It didn't help that she was sitting and boxed him in and claims he went to lunge at her, which, by the way, y'all, was not true. You know, that was not true. Miss J said, print it out and hand it to them, please. Listen, y'all know they have alternative facts, like they have alternative rules. It's alternative rules, like alternative facts. I don't know. And like I said, my college is going to be upset, but I don't think we talk about how they've ignored, even when Councilman Jared has asked, Madam Chair, could he get the floor? His request for to acknowledgement goes ignored. When she said, I'm going to have you out here ignorant, her negative comments. The president of Flint City Council has a responsibility and to bring the council together. This council is a body of 9. They have treated it for the last 2 years as if it was a body of 5. So it has really suppressed what the other 4 that weren't a part of the 5, because they weren't happy. They didn't like the fact that it was exposed with the checks from Ashley Capital that they've been voting on, getting they're not voting yes in the affirmative for their nonprofits to receive money. They didn't like that. But as this is a new year, they need to turn a new leaf. And they got stuck. They got stuck when it came to the untimely death of the councilman in the 3rd Ward, because they wanted to get some things done. Literally, I got calls saying, we don't know what we're going to do. Our big 5, or we got stuff. I'm like, hey, you calling me with this? Treat the council as a body of 9, a body of 9. And that is the disrespect that has been given along with everything else. But what I don't want, and I will not vote to put the leadership that has come back on the council members and the residents. That last meeting this week, Wednesday, people were out of there so quick. You get a warning, but I didn't. That's your second warning. It's time to stop that. It's time to stop that. And then officer, then those council rules. I don't even know where them council rules are at, y'all. Number 8, they were trying to enforce rules that literally don't exist. We didn't vote on those. We didn't have a public hearing. And they were, they broke rule number 8, rule number 11. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's not how it's done. So tomorrow, I don't know how many, former president, it's almost midnight. I don't know how many rounds we're going to go. But I can tell you, for those of us who sat in our seats for 2 years and just said, hey, let's work together. No one wants to be put back into personal hell. No one does. So I don't know how many rounds we're going to go, but I hope it's not a ton of them. But so we're going to see. So those legal opinions will hopefully be out tomorrow. We do not have it. And I forget what the third one is, y'all, because look, your girl tired. Your girl is tired. So tomorrow's going to be a big day. Oh, and I do want to say, I believe Beverly Biggs is asking people to show up for her, asking them to, I don't even have her flyer stuff. But like I said, this has kind of been like a whirlwind. I do not have her stuff. So I know that there are going to be probably some contesting this race because of Precinct 10. I know that AC Dumas is contesting. He is contesting Precinct 10 because Precinct 10 did not have 3rd Ward on the ballot. And we don't know how many. JPEG said the security plan is a joke. The security plan needs a lot. It has a lot to be desired. Yeah, and there's 2 of them. There's Chief Green's and then there's Liddell's, or the 2 on the council or the 4 on the council who didn't take, into effect what the other members were concerned about. And so tomorrow will be interesting. You're going to hear from Beverly's side. You'll probably hear from AC Dumas' side. Those are the top 2, because if it was a margin of Precinct 10 had more, but and I'm going to try to break this down because it's literally all in my head. So I've asked like all these other questions, like the what ifs. So what if Precinct 10, we know that it was on the ballot, that there were maybe 200 voters. So what could be done then? So the process, I was told, then they can petition the state to say we need another election. When would that happen? I don't have that response yet. I don't have that. So my other question is, so what is another remedy if not only Precinct 10, I believe some of the ballots, because and the state gets up to 14 days to certify this. They get up to 14 days to certify this. And so I'm getting some producer Jay that it's freezing. I'm gonna try to send send it to them. So if they get 14 days, y'all bear with me just a second, please, because I got people blowing my phone up right now.
It was you were going in and out earlier, but I think it was your internet because I checked the signal and mine was good. So I think
No,
you
listen.
chopped a couple
In the
times.
sixth ward, it's always shaky. My calls will drop in the sixth ward. Okay.
But I'm reading the chat and everybody's saying it's good. So I think you just.
Sixth ward is bad. I'm gonna tell y'all. I'll be having whole conversations and it will just be gone. I'm telling you, it will just be gone. So look, broadband issues are real over in the sixth ward, and
Hey,
so
Jason Parker said it's let them know it's their internet.
I'm gonna take responsibility, y'all. I know my internet is bad over here. I know it is. So it's bad. So back to precinct 10. And I don't even know how to get out all this information. He said he can beat some Bishop Priest and he can hear good. So how I do things in my head, and I don't want any like your head big jokes, okay? Because but how do we remedy and fix this to where we feel the voters aren't disenfranchised? One, we need to know how many voters were passed over in that precinct 10. How many were passed over? How many were on the ballot? Two, I think the process, but I'm not a legal attorney. I have talked to some. Had the process been met to allow the election to go on? It's not too far similar from Tim Sneller. There is no case law when they keep stating this. I don't know which attorney gave this opinion. I do not know with that the city clerk used the city attorney. I have always been forefront in stating to her that I wish she would not use city attorneys. Ms. Inez Brown had an attorney that she used outside of the city and she put it in her budget. The city clerk needs to have the same thing. She needs to have a attorney that is impartial, that's not with the city, because we know who the mayor. If you are the city attorney, you are appointed. You're gonna serve his best interest. That's just the way it is. I've seen how this mayor works, and that legal opinion coming out was clearly very biased as far as I was concerned, because we got a whole race right next. Look, Burton is across the street from Flint. You go on Center Road, go across the street is Burton. And that election, they allowed it to go on. Let the will of the people. Look, whoever. But then you got precinct 10, which could change some things. So you're looking at the top two people. You're looking at Beverly at 589 and AC Dumas 41 votes different. And if precinct 10 has a 41 or 100 vote difference, it needs to be looked at. This whole process was convoluted. It does not make me feel good about the election process. I'm being honest with you. It does not. And so when I'm looking at how it has shaken out or lack of shaken out, we should have a number. How many people in precinct 10 were disenfranchised? Simple as that. How do we remedy that? How? Whether we like AC Dumas or Beverly Biggs, if they were to, and they won that race, put the person who won the race, but you got to figure and factor in precinct 10. So I don't know where either of them are at right now. I do not know with that, but precinct 10 is an issue. We should not be having every single election. We got precinct problems every single election. That is the problem. They said, well, the DOJ was here. The Secretary of State was here. We still got problems. And those are major problems. We don't have one election where there's not any problems. Literally not one. So, I didn't put up, and I'm going to move on to that. So I think check in Flint Politics Reboot, because they've got information about Beverly. So y'all click on there. You have to click on there and join. You can't just go on there. Can they just let precinct 10 vote again, then add to the other numbers? That was one of them. Cattle Cardo 205. That was one of the questions. Can they do that? The precinct 10, but they're stating now it's an invalid race. The clerk has said with her legal opinion that it's not a race that is going to be counted. The state didn't say that they would not certify it. The state did not. And so we were waiting for 2-3 weeks, waiting for the letter for the state to say it. State sent back, refer to your own counsel, which would mean your own attorney. So That was one of them. So how do we, if they were to say precinct 10, how do we do that? Well, that means they have to print up a special ballot, but they don't know how many were left out yet. So that was it. So there were several different remedies and talked about. But then if it's say if there, well, we got some numbers now. This is before we had numbers. When I started asking these questions, I knew there were, how do we get past this? So then it was like, well, if the one person won by 200, only 75 people, then we wouldn't have to go back because it wouldn't have changed the election. And so it would have to be more votes missed than Beverly Biggs Levy, Lord have mercy, won by. And so it is a lot that's wrapped up in this. It's a lot. And so I don't know. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. I don't know. Jeremy Fry. Liddell's plan is not a security plan. It's merely a revision of our council rules. That part. And actually, you're correct. And it is that subcode section 31-10 and 31-12 with her own spin on it, which, and when she was calling out rule number 8, Chief Green did state that he is not following her public safety plan. She is not certified and she does not hold a position to where she can put in a security plan for anybody or anything. She just can't. What she should have did is said, hey, well, let's hold a special meeting or an executive session and talk about with the council members. Let's talk about security. What is important to you? That's what a president, a good leader should do. Bring everybody together because the concerns could be different. Talk about what the concerns are. That was not done. That was not done. So, look, I told you I wasn't going to be on here this long. So one other thing people had, that Clio Road, and I didn't put the resolution back up there. It's been voted down at least twice, maybe 3. I know at least twice. Clio Road is back up there. So people, yesterday I noticed it on there too. We didn't get our agendas until yesterday afternoon. And so I did have a question. And why was it on the agenda again? So the question came back that when the answer came back, it's different because I thought, okay, if it's back up on there, because they will put reconsiderations. I don't care how many times, you vote them down. They passed 4 reconsiderations the 23rd. So it wasn't a reconsideration because it is different now. And so, but it's different. It's not the same. And now it's a different term and different amount. But what it should still do is go through committee. They're bypassing committee again. So it's on the agenda for tomorrow, the Clio Road, and they're bypassing it again. The amounts have changed. The terms of the lease have changed. Terms of the lease have changed. But it's back up there. We just voted that down and they put it right. It's back up there again. It is back up there. So it needs to go back to committee. It is still stating that it's going to come out the drug, come out of the forfeiture fund. And I'm not for that. I prefer to see that money used towards a gang task force. We have a gang problem. We have a serious gang problem. And so it needs to go back to committee. If it's a new one, it needs to go back to committee so that it can be reviewed where the work is done in committee. That's just a fact. It shouldn't have been skipped and brought up with a new term and new amounts. It should not have, it shouldn't. What else did I want to cover? I think I covered just about everything. So who is the landlord of that building? Show me the money. I don't know who the landlord is. So I don't remember. I can't recall it, but I know there have been questions about that. So the term, the agenda is on. You can go to Flint Politics Reboot. Winters Hall did upload it on there. So it is on there, both of the agendas. So I can't remember it, but it's not show who the landlord is. I don't believe, but I have not read all of that, but it's a different term. So let's go to some of the questions because I want everybody because the lion's going to be on. Can you guys please rename City Hall after Councilman Reverend Dr. Bishop Eric Mann? Let me tell you, I miss him. I miss him because there are times when just some of the stuff that just happened, he would just be on it, on it, on it, on it. And he wasn't letting nothing slip. And he would just, point of order. Now, producer Jay, what was the one you said you like it when he would say what?
So he always, when they would get racist, well, some of them on the council would get racist, he would go, point of order. What did you just say?
He would say that. He would say, because he would want you to repeat it. Yeah. I think with this council, when we look at how the four who are fighting for what's right, that we have been really pulled through and not pulled through, I think it's attempted to be beaten down and to be discouraged. And for us to still show up every day, it's not easy, y'all. It's not easy. Miss T said, how do you know Lydell won't select the leadership roles like she did last year? Okay, I don't know what exactly that means. I mean, you get the vote and put out who your name, whoever for each role has got to get 5 votes. And so we will have to see. I know we will have to see. So she doesn't get to select her. She gets to say who her name, if she votes for herself, she voted for herself. So Miss J, stay cool tomorrow. She's going to try every trick in the book. Just remember, she is no longer the president. Oh, look, I know that. Look, me and my little scroungy charter. Okay. Now, one other thing I wanted people to, because people often question, and we know it was really when we were talking about how do we get that secret money, the 610,000 that they're not going to tell us on how that they on how you can get a portion of what's left. We can't tell you. The role of a ad hoc committee is to come back and report to the city council. They have done not a great job at that. They're supposed to share with us. So when the question came up with Councilman Jarrett, who wanted to increase giving from 36 to 40 to 50,000 for involved dads, it became a huge problem. And so he was like, well, do what you've been doing. So he was making some valid points. And now I'm like, well, listen, if we got 610,000 in food access, look, we got Bethel Church, St. Mark's Church, they're out of food. How do we get our stuff on there, which is basically what it was. I don't know if everybody caught like that undertone. And so that was not saying we did not understand what is in our council rules, that it wasn't stating that, because I didn't agree to what they call the goofy rules, which were adopted 422. I didn't agree to the rules because these rules were rules that the president or the chair agrees. We can no longer just put something on a agenda. We can't. We can't. So, but how can the council and the mayor has the right to put something on the agenda? And that is in the city charter. That is in the charter. But when you go to the council rules, it's a resolution. But when you go to the council rules that they have, the council president, if it's her meeting, she has to agree, or the vice, whoever chairs that meeting, they have to agree. And that includes not allowing the city clerk to even put something on it. The city clerk can't just say, I'm gonna put something on. She doesn't have that. She doesn't have that authority. She does not. And so when you limit that, you limit the voice of the people. And so that is a huge problem. So these rules, which in my council, I have 2 council, there are some rules that have to be changed. So as we've been going along in this entire year or 2, there are things that need to be changed so that we have it fair across the board. No one council, no ward or council person should have the authority to do as they want. And that's the way it has been. Some of just the disrespect with people, just even with the, someone's talking, you're going to be cut off. If somebody doing a 10-second wrap up, let them wrap up. I mean, it is not that crucial. And so rule 6.8, and I'm going to read this one. So matters to an agenda. Rule 6.3. My bad, y'all. I can't read my own writing. So Rule 6.3 and the City Council rules, the deadline for contacting Flint City Council staff for the purpose of adding matters to an agenda shall be by 12 p.m. noon on Thursday. They just added Clio Road, y'all. They done broke the City Council rules. Then I think you go down to 6.8. 6.8, items may be placed in any committee agenda request by any council member, the mayor or the clerk. Special orders may be approved by the City Council president or the committee chair for a committee meeting. The clerk may reassign items to an appropriate committee at his or her discretion. So part of that is they have to agree to put it on. You know, whoever's agenda, like, and I'm gonna tell you, I have asked for the water to be put on. We had the administrative consent order, and I had asked for that to put on. The vice president turned it down. The president turned it down. I asked for Judy to put it on hers. She turned it down. Look, Jerry, I didn't vote those rules either. We did not. We did not vote the goofy rules. So the administrative consent order, which I've talked about it before, is that infrastructure. People talk about our water quality. The three of them have stated that they would not let it be put on the agenda. So what happened is they ended up doing a call for the question that night on September the 23rd, where they voted to give $200,000 to someone, $25,000. Liddell voted to give her nonprofit that she's still affiliated with. The new council rules, was it new council rules? It wasn't new council rules. The disorderly conduct, where they strengthened the disorderly conduct, but then refused to enforce it when on October the 14th. And so that when we talk about their rules and what they are their rules, because I didn't support them. You know, they pretty much are doing what they want. It's not at the discretion and with the concern of the rest of the council. And so a lot of them rules have got to be turned back because they don't make sense. When you got a problem when the city clerk can't put on something, it's a problem. Angela Lynette, Miss T, I agree. Judy has no backbone. Liddell can say the charter says she is a Democrat. Well, simply respond as always. That is correct. Nobody is correct all the time. Well, that is correct. Nobody is correct all the time. Only people I know that are correct all the time are sociopaths with narcissistic tendencies. That's it. But how do we move Flint forward? That's a whole nother thing. So I just wanted to go over a couple things because tomorrow it's going to be I think it's 364 pages on the agenda. A lot of this is verbiage like the what do you call it? Insurance policies, the terms of the lease and different things, but it's 364 pages. And then we have to pick offices, and we should have tomorrow the legal opinions. Hopefully we should have them. But I want people to know this. A legal opinion is just that. You know, it is not, every attorney may have a different legal opinion. And so legal opinions are just legal opinions. Each attorney, you know, they can have different ones. I don't know what the legal opinions, but I can tell they will be, it will be probably tailored to what they want. We know that they do not want to have Beverly Biggs to be selected. We know that the election wasn't allowed to go through or to be certified. We do know that. Someone asked who will be chairing the meeting. It will start out with the city clerk. The city clerk will start out that meeting. And then I don't know how many rounds we're going to go. Look, that's one of the legal opinions. And so we will just, I guess, have to wait to see because we don't know. But what I don't want is when we talk about leadership and how do we move Flint forward. Joshua, you got one of those videos we'll show. Can you put one of those videos up where, first, no, I sent you an 810 Flint before we close up, because we have got to change the climate in there. And when I talk about changing the climate in there, we got to change how people are being treated. We have to change how people are lack of respect. It has to be changed. Because one thing we know that the council president is not trying to say, let me reach out, let me, what's best for Flint? Let me work for all 9. She has a total disregard for all of her, for some of her colleagues. If you're not agreeing with her, if you think for yourself, you can forget it. But here's one of the problems with me. Where it says with the green lies about being called. She did this not too long ago. This is where she triggered the family. She took a family's grief and used it for her own, to start a riot. It was, and if people weren't, it's different when you're watching it on TV or on social media. Being there was totally different. It was unbelievable. So one thing because when she talks about Pfeiffer lunged at her, he never lunged at her. He never did. He did not lunge at her. He sat there for over 2 hours between Candace and Liddell. Liddell was in the wrong seat and going at him. Oh, calling him racist, calling him names, calling him a snake. That's not what you do. And that's what they call our leadership. That was the leadership who had him boxed in and went at him. She refused to go into her seat. Super producer, can you play the video where she's in the wrong seat?
So you want that one first or the 810?
Let's do the 810 one first, then the other one following right after that, please.
Gotcha.
What is happening under your watch is you calling people monkeys. And when you calling people monkeys, you're not apologizing.
Hold on, pause our time. Listen, we've already had audience response. The audience needs to stop yelling out. Everybody has heard me ask y'all to stop yelling out.
Thank you. So my colleague in the 8th Ward don't want to be called racist. It's bigger than just the selling of a decommissioned park. It's all about you making sure you have decorum with every single member of the African American community. So when you called me a monkey, you didn't have any feelings, nor have you apologized to this day. When you brought your brother up here to jump at me and to threaten and intimidate me, you have yet to apologize for that. When you physically jumped at me, as we smile, but again, I'm part of the African American community, you had nothing to say either. And further,
pause the time. Continue.
Thank you. So let's not pick and choose, or in the words of my late colleague, cherry pick what you want to enforce and what you want to support. If you are against the park, that's fine, but be against calling your colleagues monkey or against not apologizing for doing so. And let's stop selling lies to the public. We have 30 days to fill that seat, and the clock is ticking the day after someone passes away. So we don't have all day to figure this out. We must, as my colleague in the 3rd Ward always said, and when you said that he's just a puppet with a hand up his ass, when you made that comment towards him, we're just trying to get done the business of this city.
All right, so this is what's going to happen, because I've asked several times. And so as I'm identifying people that are yelling out, you're going to get your warnings. Go ahead.
So, to Mr. Woodson, you are exactly correct. We do pick and choose. We do pick and choose who we protect and defend. And so when that councilman said what he said, you all decided not to defend me, but that's fine. But I stand with you, because I don't stand with people that call people nigger bitches. I don't. And so we need to make sure that when we stand up for the African American community, that we stand 10 toes down and all the way tall. Thank you, Mr. Moore, for your kind words about my colleague. He put in the work. He did the work to his last breath. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Walk it up, bro. Walk it up.
Thank you.
That's it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you calling people. Are you ain't intimidating me? If you don't intimidate me, you don't intimidate me.
Yeah, this is not fair.
That's all I'm saying. No intimidation here, Piper. No intimidation here.
Y'all need to take y'all ass off. Y'all need to take y'all ass off. That's some bullshit.
I'm here if you need me.
That's some bullshit.
They gonna get enough. You're gonna be the bitches up in this one. You don't get enough for that with the president. Just bragging it. You better get her.
Hey, fuck y'all dark ass. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. Did he touch you? Did he touch you? I would have. That's why you're afraid of me now. That's why you're afraid of me now. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're afraid of me now. That's why you always lashing out. That's why you always lashing out. That's why you always lashing out. Did your father touch you when you was younger? He was single already. You and none of you big ass. I ain't fighting. See, I ain't fighting you big ass move. You will the beat. You down will the beat. You run around the head. You motherfucking deer out. Big ass motherfucker. Wow! You ain't shit. I ain't fighting. I ain't fighting though. You're retarded ass though. You know what I'm saying? I ain't fighting though. I ain't fighting though. You know what I'm saying? I got no way to put what you see. You the one working here for $24,000. With your dumb ass. Go talk to.
Okay. So that was leadership. So let me state out this. She was sitting in the 9th ward seat. And so for those y'all who don't think I know the rules, I do. That one been highlighted because I pointed it out that night. So rule 9.4, a council member must be seated at their designated seating place to vote. Proxy votes are not allowed. She was voting from her seat, refused to go back to her seat. I put a motion on the floor for her to go back. She refused. She voted no. You got the council president, refused to sit in her seat, going after, set purposely next to Councilman Pfeiffer as to try to antagonize him and went at him all night long. And that's all me and Winfrey JWC, we heard. And so when we talk about what he went through, and then she comes on there and this, oh, he did this. No, you weren't even sitting in the right seat. You were not, according to the Flint City Charter, which she violates steps on, does not follow. 9.4 tells her on page 6 of 13 where the basic part, where she is supposed to sit. She didn't follow that rule. She didn't follow that rule. Angela had multiple recalls, and she has only been saved by the loopholes and crooked clerk. So when we talk about what he went through, it's so easy to put that component. Oh, I'm a black woman and he's a white man. That component does not even apply. It does not apply because she goes after everybody. And you can see they were giving just as good as they were getting because they were going back with Woodson. They were going back. And the attacks that the leadership was doing with the public were personal. The public's attacks were personal, but the leadership's attacks were personal too. They were personal. So it's not like they don't go back. And then that whole meeting, they went at Pfeiffer, both of them. Just went at him. I got up and said, Pfeiffer, please get up. Because I could see the frustration on his face. Because when he's asking the chair, which was Judy, to take control of the meeting, Judy didn't do it. And Judy got frustrated. And I asked her, and she says, I just wanted it to stop. And so Judy, when you friends and not saying, I'm going to follow the charter, friendship superseded what we should be doing as legislative. It superseded that. For over 2.5 hours, she was allowed to sit in the wrong seat. She shouldn't have been voting on anything. Her vote shouldn't even count for anything. It should have counted because she wasn't properly sitting in her designated seat. So that's not what we need. That was y'all leadership, the president and the vice president. You know, before I used to say, let's do team building. I said that for a year and a half. I just stopped because you cannot. You cannot. You know, it's either we're gonna beat you down, I'm gonna bully you down. I mean, it's not easy. You know, when you showing up for this council every day, you know what's gonna happen. You know, then now they're worried about the 30-day, 90-day. Stop with the nonsense. Because they removed Mays for 30 days. They wasn't worried about the first ward. Any representation. Zero. Not once did they move their lips, say, oh, we're concerned about the representation or the voters being disenfranchised. Not one time. Then they turned around and voted him to be removed for 90 days. Not one time did you hear them say, we're concerned about the representation. We're concerned about making sure that this representation for the first ward. They didn't. They were pleased and happy. They continuously went after him and the voice of the first ward. They continually went after him. That's a total of 120 days that they removed him. Then when he was gone, oh, I'm going to go after Tanya Burns, Jerry Murphy Carter, Dennis Pfeiffer. I got 30 days, took mine to court. Won. It now goes to the state appeals court, which I have to wait for my date. And so when we look at it, they don't care about if your ward is represented. All they care about is you fall under their demise and do what they say. Not once have they said, hey, let's work this out. A good leader is going to say, you know what? I got my part. You may have your part. Let's put that aside. Let's work for the people. You have never heard that. She was just stating this last meeting, throwing everybody out. You get a warning. That's your warning. Okay, but I didn't say anything. That's your second warning. Come on, stop with that. So when she talked about cherry picking, October the 14th, they cherry picked. No warnings were given out. The threat, when I played the video from 810 Flint, there was a threat that I'm going to give you a warning. Never happened. I'm going to give you a warning. Did not happen. And y'all watched it. You know, you saw the video. Then there was, and you're going to get your warnings. Okay. We still waiting for the warnings. Matter of fact, I'm still waiting for them to issue arrest warrants. When 12 people surrounded a woman, they threatened to, I was there for that B. When you encourage that type of behavior in city council by the president, when they said on that video, Liddell and them, THEM, more than one, was happy as hell. We were there. They was happy. Yeah, we were here to get that B time. Yeah. And they went home and videotaped themselves. So no, I don't feel safe. Yes, I'm going to continue to follow through. I'm absolutely going to, because they turned that council meeting upside down. And yes, they shut it down. Not a proud moment, but somebody needs to be charged for that. They have not followed through. We just got assigned a detective this week. They have not followed. That's the first time I heard from them. Haven't heard from them again. It was a brief message. I don't think the other council members have. I'm not letting this go. Absolutely not. Because it got so serious to where someone had to pull out a firearm. So when we talk about, the seriousness of these things, we have to understand that the seriousness of these, that you can't just let that go. You can't let it go. You came here, you broke subcode section 31-10 and subcode section 31-12. Now they just arrested Whitson. And so he was just arrested. Now he was arrested. No one else was arrested. Whitson was taken, he was handcuffed, he was agitated, he was triggered. And they kept triggering the audience, triggering the people who were there. And so as they triggered the people that were there, they were a part of the problem. They came in and were messing with Beverly. Judy did. She was a part of the problem. Judy, you're not the fire marshal. You cannot enforce what the fire marshal. You have no fire marshal credentials. And they wanted her to provide what you're supposed to provide for a handicap as a section and have it ready. If you know she's been there and you're talking about the aisleways, you didn't prepare a place for Beverly, who's on a walker, to be there. You have a responsibility. You do. Now, I get you may not like Beverly, but 589 people do. They do. You got what? 48, 5, 48, 9. I look my numbers off, y'all. They like AC Dumas. The will of the people spoke. They spoke who they want, and they spoke who they don't want. And that's very clear. And we should be honoring that. We should be honoring that. So going back to this, no warnings were given. Liddell was in the wrong seat. Her vote shouldn't have been counted. She broke Council Rule 9.4. She allowed those 12 people to violate Subcode Section 31-10 and the new one that they voted on, 31-12. That's not what we need in leadership. That's not what leadership looks like and is. Not at all. So I have not really seen, and Producer Jay, y'all, I'm going to say, thank you for rolling with me through this and putting up the comments. Is it comments or questions or anything that I have not addressed or talked about? Judy targeted Miss Beth, but where she was sitting last week, she did target her. She did. So I don't know if there's anything like I have missed. Because I know, look, the Lions come on, y'all, and y'all know they're the number one. So y'all know I'm rooting for them Lions. How you like them Lions? So
no, that's pretty much it. I put all the comments and the questions.
Okay.
Well, the questions up. I put all the questions.
Okay. So we will be back starting Saturday at 10, unless there's something special. I want to tell y'all, I appreciate you, Producer Jay, because without you, you added some stuff there. You know, it was a whirlwind. Literally from the AM part after midnight, and we was getting this going because I was just going to do a Facebook Live. Without you, Producer Jay, I could not have done this without you making sure I had the graphics and having everything up. This is our first time doing this with Producer Jay. Literally, this is my first time. Wasn't set up beforehand because your girl went and got in bed and was tired from the week. All I did was watch yesterday, and I wasn't joking, Christmas movies on Netflix. Because our reality in Flint is too much. So if we won't change, and I keep saying, get us some help. You know, we need y'all to support those who came who was in that race. You know, they should be certifying that race. You should be supporting to find out what happened with Precinct 10. Precinct 10 has got some issues. And so we need to know how many people were in Precinct 10. Will it offset it between Beverly Biggs Levy, and will it offset it with AC Dumas? Because those were the top two vote getters. So will Precinct 10 set that off? I don't know. But if we're going just on 589, just on the election, 589 spoke. Beverly Biggs, according to those, what they call the invalid, she was the top vote getter. But Precinct 10 should be dealt with beforehand so that we don't have any doubts or anything lingering around. There should be nothing lingering around. Nothing. So
hey, I know you got to go. There was two questions in the chat.
Yeah, put them up.
There's one of them's up already.
Is there any person that can make final votes? It stands off with no resolution. No, it has to be council. And so we just be at it'll be at a, I don't know. We have some what do you call it? What's the names coming down?
Well, I don't know if you want to answer that one, but I put it up. Miss
Cynthia, that Papa putting that up. If you get 5 votes, will you put Liddell off for 30 days? I think I know who Miss Cynthia or the lovely couple, the Mr. and Mrs. Jarrett. I'm gonna refrain from answering that. I am, and I'm gonna take. If I don't give a political, I'm gonna give a political one now. I really want to move this council forward. I honestly do. I did my 30 days, which was ridiculous because I literally said part of it was I turned my back on Quincy Murphy. I don't have to agree with him. He didn't agree with me. He called me a name and was cutting up, and I said Liddell is not a nice person. Y'all seen the video. She's not. Liddell cussed out 2 pastors. Let me be clear. Well, one, let's talk about the one. Pastor Thompson, not once but twice. And not just like I don't like you. It was like cuss words, F you, shots fired. You a F.A. pastor. That's not the leadership that we want or need. No, that's not it. You know, she walked out on the Mitchell boys. She walked out. Then said, I didn't walk out. I just showed y'all the video. And that was just to hold for election for a special investigation for the 2 little black boys that died on Pulaski Street. So time and time again, she showed us who she is. She should not be holding a leadership position. She cussing out pastors. She put the residents out. And I have not, I'm going to take at one point, I don't know, producer Jay, if you watch as much as I do, but we need to do like a count where everybody just put in somebody she threw out. And it don't count if you've been put out multiple times. So Kawana Mack can't count. Beverly Biggs can't count. Arthur Woodson show, but he get the trophy for being arrested most times. And who else? I mean, if we keep going, you have everybody in there she has put out. She put out a lady who was sleeping in her car, came to ask for help with the roof. She put her out. I mean, Papa Jared, I quit counting how many times you've been put out. She did call Maurice David at the school of BITCA. She called me a BITCA. Papa Jared,
Go ahead. And I was just going to say, and she has a really big problem with her bullying tactics. You remember when she hit Mr. Mays' chair several times.
She did. She did. And where he was like, you can't fit through here, and she tried to, but she did it on purpose, and it was something she couldn't refrain from. She could not refrain from. So, listen, I'm gonna say this, and our leadership should not be cussing out pastors. You can disagree with the pastor, and I get a lot of calls. And for me, and somebody said Tanya Burns can't say she never called nobody name. They right. But what I went through that night, y'all don't even understand. I had 25 things I felt that was going on, and I had somebody leering at me the whole time, and it has been stressful. And I did call her a name, but she was calling me names all night, and I'm just tired. We tired. There has got to be a change to where you're respecting who you sit next to, across from, that we all up there. Leadership does not, and no, we're the leadership. I'm so sick of that word. We value each of our opinions, and I'm gonna tell you this. My candidate choice was not Leon Alameen, no secret about it. But when he voted for he said he had somebody to do portraits for $2,500. I supported that. Because if you know somebody who's going to do them portraits for $2,500 for residents, that's a huge difference. And if that's what they're charging, I supported that. I don't have to care for you personally because it's not personal. It's the business. It's the business. And that's just how I feel. It is the business of the city. And that's what we have to focus on. So any more questions? Oh, Merck 70 says, salute to all veterans. Absolutely. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. I want to thank all of the veterans for your service. For those who have served, are served. Well, you're not a veteran if you still serve. I want to thank all the veterans. So I take that back. And I think state offices are closed, but city, not everything is closed. So I think the county is closed, but the city is open. So it's not any consistency there. I believe banks are closed. So happy Veterans Day to all of them. I know a lot of places are offering like free meals to veterans. They're offering different things. So anything else, Producer Jay?
No, I think that's it.
Now I want to ask you, look, I didn't have anything to do with the music intro. That was Pastor Jordan. What do y'all think about the music? Because he sent me 6 songs. First of all, I cannot sing. I didn't write the lyrics. I didn't know instrumental. I did none of that. He just sent them to me and then said, no, he said, I'm going to send you some musical arrangements. They're yours. And I said, okay. And he sent the song. Now, y'all know if I had a song that, listen, it would have been a hot mess. That was not my gift. I got booed at the Christmas party with my 2 cousins. My one cousin is like 6'4". He was a backup singer. And the other one's like 6'1". So, and we got booed. We got booed at the Christmas party. You like the intro? Well, thank you, B. Marie. I gotta call you. He did a good job. Thank you, Angela. I must say this. I have felt so incredibly blessed by what the community showing love from Dallas, Gutter Black. Hey, I have really warmed my heart. And producer Jay, when you called, I didn't share this with you. Literally, I was not in bed 5 minutes. But when you said, I've already started your page, I was like, oh my God, God is just covering me and sending me wonderful people. And God has been. God has been. And Sheena, if you still listening, I got to send one back to you because you had sent me some things, and I think they need to be tweaked a little bit. I mean, as much business work, and y'all, I take, don't keep that one up. I take my council job seriously, but this is probably the raggediest charter I got. Look, y'all, your girl be serious. So my other one is dog-eared and written into. And then there's one in my office. The one in my office, the staple is gone. But look, this is my other one. I use my charters, and I try to make sure any decisions that I make, I base them on charter. And then also to my attorney Terry Johnson, that I can call at any time, because there's times literally, y'all, I have to have him walk me back and say, okay, I need you to explain this to me in a non-attorney, you or Jim. I literally ask him this, and he's like, okay, read it to me. And he can read it to me. Okay, this is what I need you to do. And I appreciate, if y'all need a good attorney, Terry Johnson, he has helped me so much with stuff because there's so much going. I have not gotten that help from our city attorneys. I have not. I've had to seek outside counsel. And I can talk to him because he has it's like how his brain works. And it's like, okay, let's work backwards on it. And he's on it. And I will say this with kudos with him, when we had the conspiracy, he's like, Tiny, that's a conspiracy to incite riots in more than one person, blah, blah. And he started MCO 750 point, da. Those are the people I appreciate. And I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. So hello and assalamu alaikum. Councilwoman Tiny Burns, great to see you back on YouTube. Salaikum salam. My heart is full. My heart is full because I don't think people I'm up at night, literally studying, trying to go over stuff. And some of this stuff, how we can work around it. I do not know how to work around this election part, y'all, other than court. I don't see it. I don't see them putting Beverly Biggs into that seat with those numbers, with precinct 10. And if it's a close of a margin with AC Dumas, I don't see it. I think that one has to be in court. I think that what they need to do is figure that out, because I think it is, I think it's a court issue. And I think it needs to be looked at with the attorneys that I have talked to, my attorney team also. It's a process. Is that the process? Otherwise, I don't want us to stay hung up anymore. And tomorrow's going to be a long day, a very long day. And producer Jay, I want to say this: you rock. You took the lead and took the reins and took the steering wheel. And your girl was, look, I was down. And what was that? Exodus 14:14. I was resting, had not a clue. I didn't ask anybody to do me no songs, no banners. I didn't ask them to do me. You hooked up my YouTube. I didn't ask any of that, but God sent people who prepared for me, and y'all, I am forever grateful and thankful, because I couldn't do this with y'all and with y'all who are out there. So no matter where you are at, if you're in California, Georgia, North Carolina, Flint, Detroit, wherever you are at, I am grateful. And I'm gonna go back to this, and I'm gonna leave when it says, when the Lord will fight for you, you need to only be still. Y'all, I was as still as I could be. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That's Exodus 14:14. So while I was reading that little raggedy charter, the old goofy council rules, while I was saying, it took me 3 weeks to write a grocery list, y'all. And Stephanie will say she only go to the grocery store when she run out of water. Listen, I got about maybe 4 bottles left. So I will be at the grocery store. I will have to be there. I mean, and I literally laid down last night. I was like, okay, you know what, God, I did all I could do. Had no idea that the YouTube channel had been created for me. I did not know. Oh, the Merck said, won't he do it? Merck, yes, he will do it. And then the songs, I was like, look at that. They didn't Pastor Jordan hooked me up some songs. And just the point, I have received so many people reaching out to me to help. And I haven't even had time to really go over everything because I'm still trying to understand all it is. Election law. I'm not an attorney. So I spend a lot of my time on with attorneys and everybody else because I'm not understanding some of it. So I want to tell Stephanie, really, Steph, oh my gosh, she won't go to the store. No, I hate going to the grocery store. And I know it's other people out there like that. I know there's other people. I hate going to the grocery store. And so my kids make the joke that when I shop, it's like I shop like it's an apocalypse. And so for everybody who asks, the possum I have in my house is out. I have not went down the basement because your girl's still a little bit scared. And even though it's out, and he did some tearing up, some things are broken. And so I need to get past this week and to understand some things and to work through and to read some things. So if you come in tomorrow, the meeting starts at what time does that meeting start? Oh, 4:30. 4:30 special affairs. And I think there's only 1 or 2 items on special affairs. So Producer Jay, I appreciate you. No, you didn't put in my possum. Listen, no. Producer Jay. Listen, they had named that possum too. They named the possum. That possum took up residency. Listen, between the possums, the groundhogs, the raccoons, and the cats around Flint. Listen, our animals are urban fine. That may not be a word I done made up. They're urban fine. They done toe up and dug up underneath the porch, then tore the overhang out with the insulation, the wood. Them animals don't play. I don't know why all these animals keep trying to break into my house, but I keep having a problem. I don't know what it is. I used to have a rescue dog, and since I put him down, it's been a little problem. But I need them animals to go live someplace else. They ain't paying no rent. They ain't got no money on consumers. They ain't paying no cable bill. You got to go. You got to go. You know, put up the possum.
Hey, I ain't gonna tell you.
Scared.
I ain't gonna tell you what these comments saying about.
What them comments say?
I ain't going there with you.
You gotta put the comments up.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Why? I can't see them.
So disclaimer: the views of certain
are not the views of the Tanya Burns show. Okay. That was the possum. I do want to say Kevin Day had that possum was a smart possum. He did get the possum out. He got the possum out. And before, when I had the cats that broke in, my neighbor, may he rest in peace, Blue, and then my son got the cat out. But I don't know what it is. This little overhang, I need to remove it underneath. And then, like I said, the porch, they done dug all up underneath there. But I need the animals to not be attracted to where I live. No, not at all. Not at all. Not the views of Tanya Burns show. Yeah. Oh, so listen, I appreciate y'all tuning in with me. And look, I need, if you're on here, to click like, share, and subscribe. Click like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you giving me your time. That Lions game getting ready to come on. So go Lions, go Lions, go Lions. And so, Producer Jay, anything you want to say before we head out?
No, that's it. Be sure to follow the Tanya Burns show on YouTube. I have the where you can find her channel. So if you could subscribe to it, and let's continue to
and click the what's the thingy? What's the notification bell?
So click the bell, and you'll get notifications every time you go live or upload a video.
All right.
And then also, we can go out on the on your intro because a few people said that they did not hear it. So whenever
listen,
you
y'all, listen. Tanya Burns and sing that song. I got booed at the Christmas party. So drop y'all comments, even after, because these comments won't say, they'll disappear after the show, right?
They'll still be on the they'll be on there on the YouTube video for
okay.
Forever, so.
Okay. All right. So I want to thank Pastor Jordan for making that. And Pastor Jordan is not Producer Jay. Two different people, y'all, just so you know. We're talking about Georgia and Chicago. So two different, Illinois. So I want to thank Pastor Jordan for creating those songs. And Sheena B, that's right. Hit the notification bell, y'all. Hit the notification bell. And so we're going to go out on the music. I want y'all to enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Tomorrow's going to be long. If you are a praying person, pray for our council tomorrow. But we're going to need some prayer up in that place. We're going to need it. So let's play. Y'all enjoy your evening. Let's go out with the new song, y'all. And put y'all comments if you like the song or not. Let me know. I did not write it. I had nothing to do with it. God sent me somebody ahead to make sure I was covered, like he said, sent Producer Jack. So he sent them both ahead for me. And Sheena sent me her beautiful banners. I mean, I love you. Y'all touch my heart. Y'all did. So let's go on now. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. So let's go.
It's the Tanya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that vow. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up. We're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tanya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With